The next speaker is an urban geographer from Italy. Please welcome Federico Venturini.
Hello. Before starting my intervention, I would like to thank you all the organizers, all the people. You are still here. It's very late, I know. And also I would like to thank you, the translators, and thank you for the last push of today. But more than that, I would like to thank you, all the people that are putting their lives in the line and struggling for a better world, that are not here with us today, but are struggling for a different world. Thank you. So, Murray Bookchin was the founder of the social ecology, a philosophical perspective whose political project is called libertarian municipalism or communalism. Recently, there has been a revival of interest in this project due to its influence on the social political organization in Rojava. This should not be a surprise because Bookchin's works influenced Öcalan for more than a decade. We should all welcome this renewed interest in social ecology and take lessons from the Rojava experience. Bookchin's analyses have always been more focused on North American or European experiences, and so libertarian municipalism draws from these traditions. Moreover, Bookchin, who was writing in a Cold War scenario, was suspicious of the limits of national movements struggling for independence. The aim of my presentation is to develop and enlarge Bookchin's analysis, including experiences and traditions from different cultures and movements, and their interrelation on a global scale. First, I will explore social ecology perspective in non-Western context. Second, I will introduce new tools to deal with international relations based on world system theory. Third, I will suggest that new experiences coming from non-Western regions can strengthen social ecology understandings and practices. On one side, the fall of the Soviet Union and the shift of the People's Republic of China to unrestrained capitalism have shown the limits and faults of authoritarian Marxist projects. On the other, the dramatic global financial crisis in 2008 and the environmental crisis have shown also the limits of the current dominant system. However, the left, with a few exceptions, particularly in Latin American countries, seems unable to express new alternatives and credible projects to neoliberal economies and bourgeois democracy. It is crucial for anti-capitalist movements to reach people and whole societies with alternative solutions that offer not only strategy to overthrow the actual system, but sketch possible solutions on how to structure a future social, equitable, and ecological society. Recently, David Harvey has affirmed that Bookchin's proposal is by far the most sophisticated radical proposal to deal with the creation and collective use of the commons across a variety of scales, and is well worth elaborating as part of the radical anti-capitalist agenda. In my view, the power of social ecology goes beyond a proposal to deal with the commons. Permeated by dialectical naturalism, it clearly challenges the current capitalistic system and all forms of oppression, including racism, ethnocentrism, and patriarchy. Moreover, social ecology offers a reconstructive and revolutionary vision for an ecological post-scarcity society. Social ecology considers current societal struggles that surface in both urban and rural contexts, while also addressing central questions of nature, science, and technology that arise in this context. What is more, social ecology suggests how to construct a new society, promoting prefigurative political organizing strategies that include affinity groups, the formation of directly democratic social movements, as well as educational and political projects that include communalism or libertarian municipalism. Moreover, social ecology provides an ethic of complementarity that lays at the foundation of struggles to promote sex and gender liberation, horizontalism, egalitarianism, mutual aid, self-determination, and decentralization. This is the power of social ecology. It offers a coherent theory that, while critiquing current social and ecological crises, provides a reconstructive vision as well as the tools to achieve a free and ecological society. This powerful theory, which has been influencing the European and American ecological movements for decades, has, however, a limited application in non-Western context, as Bookchin himself recognized. I am more knowledgeable about this country, he said, than I am about other parts of the world, speaking about US. Despite some fervent critique that blame Bookchin of disconnected from realities of contemporary global society and based of a highly Eurocentric theoretical problematic, with no references to places such as Kolkata, Beijing, Jakarta, Rio, Nairobi, or indeed any of the great third world megalopolis, as John Clark said, Bookchin's approach is fully understandable, and we cannot blame him for that. However, I believe that it's our duty to develop and enlarge his analysis, including the analysis of single movements and their interrelations of a global scale. As I stress, in their analysis, Bookchin and other social ecologists remain, unfortunately, concentrated on European or US experiences and points of view, denying an opening to a global scale that is currently recognized to be the real scale of the struggle. If we want to develop a meaningful explanation of these struggles, a worldwide viewpoint is necessary, as well as a surpassing of a Western-centered mindset. I recognize the power of social ecology as a tool for social change, but also as an instrument to understand the current social and environmental crisis and to identify the key areas in which to intervene, proposing valid alternatives. Key concepts of social ecology like community, citification, urbanization, urban sprawl, use of resources and technology, relation with institutions, role of the city planners, and so on, can be fundamental to understand the global features of capitalism. I recognize that we can reinvigorate these aspects by introducing new points of view. Dealing with experiences from the semi-periphery can help to develop a more organic social ecology view that, so far, has been mainly based on the analysis of cities from the core. Moreover, a more articulated analysis of the experiences of periphery and semi-periphery countries is needed, especially considering the form of oppression of neocolonialism. That, in the words of Nkrumah, back in the 60s, is defined as the sense of neocolonialism is that the state which is subject to it is, in theory, independent and has all the outward trapping of international sovereignty. In reality, its economic system and thus its political policy is directed from outside. In a globalized world, these dependency relations between nations are maintained with different methods, among which military occupation is still a possibility, but less likely to be used. The new main way of controlling a foreign nation is through economic monetary power. And Niruma continues saying, the results of neocolonialism is that foreign capital is used for the exploitation rather than for the development of the less developed parts of the world. Investment under neocolonialism increases rather than decreases the gap between rich and the poor countries in the world. The main aim of this new indirect power relation is the continuity and enhancement of the control of sources of raw materials and the production of manufactured goods. It is evident how these forces act on a global scale, and that is fundamental to account for them, despite Bookchin's decision of concentrating his work on revolution mainly in Europe and North America, because modern revolution in other parts of the world, as he said, tended to be deeply self-oriented, and their ideological impact upon the world has been very limited. And he continues saying, their ideologies linger on mainly as echoes of the older European revolution. The importance of any anti-colonial struggles or other forms of struggle in non-core countries is severely downplayed, while they are, in reality, demonstrating a special vitality in fighting against various forms of domination. For example, the Brazilian scholar Cavalcanti points out that the main criticism to Bookchin could be, from our point of view, the little attention that he devoted to problem of social ecology in third world countries. In this context, the position of Ramnath that highlights the importance of decolonizing knowledge in revolutionary struggle is relevant. In order to do so, it is important to avoid certain shortcomings in dividing the countries into first and third world, developed, developing, global north, global south. Terms like core, semi-periphery, and periphery countries, introduced by Wallerstein in his world system theory, teach the explanation of the complicated power economic relations between countries. Moreover, if social ecology aims at challenging all forms of domination, it needs to address the relationship between the periphery and semi-periphery, considering neocolonialism as a form of domination based on the indirect control and forced dependency of the economy and culture of a country. The only case in which Bookchin directly influenced a movement and a revolutionary project outside the core has been in the Kurdish context. In this case, indeed, it is clear how the political program of Öcalan has been shaped around the concept of confederalism presented in communalism. There is a direct line between the elaboration of the founder of social ecology and Öcalan, built on an intense exchange of ideas whose history has been described and analyzed by Janet Beale. This evidence needs, however, a deeper confirmation in a body of literature that surely suffers from the context in which it has been developed. Öcalan is writing from prison with a major aim of defending his legal case and finding a political solution for the Kurdish question, with limited access to books and visits. As he said, one of the major concerns to him is a map, a solution that fits the situation of the Middle East better. And the PKK struggle is for a general revolution in Turkey, beyond the single Kurdish question. In any case, today's events show the power of this intervention and of social ecology influence. The experience of the Rojava cantons are a live example of concepts of democratic confederalism put into practice, experiencing large autonomy in the communities, communal economy, and emancipation of women. The adaptation of social ecology principles to local scale and to local needs, it is the crucial key for the expansion and sprawl of these ideas. This can be learned from the Kurdish case as well as from the Zapatistas' experience, another example of autonomous government in practice today outside the capitalist domain. Learning from these experiences and using them to reflect on and enhance social ecological thought will permit us to maintain it as a dynamic philosophy, avoiding the danger of ossified theorization. And I would like to conclude with a quote from Bookchin. Bookchin himself recognized that utopian dialogue in all its essentiality must infuse the abstractions of social theory. My concern is not with utopistic blueprints, which can rigidify thinking as surely as more recent governmental plans, but with the dialogue itself as a public event. Thank you.
Thank you, Federico.